everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and we're doing yet another random ass anime review, and this time we're taking a look at an OVA called Desert Rose. Although it has another title called Desert Rose Apocalypse of Snow, but I'll just call it Desert Rose for short. And it's just considered as a straight up action, but I should mention that I can see this anime also falling into the subgenre of girls with guns. For that, the most basic way I can summarize this anime is that, well, yeah, it's all about girls with guns, so, you know, it just makes sense. So with knowing that, let's get talking about the story. So it begins that there is a anti-terrorism group called C.A.T, which stands for Counterattack Terrorism. And the leader of this group happens to be Mariko Rosebank. And what inspired her to create this group was that she was actually a victim within a terrorist attack where an airport blew up and a bunch of people got killed, including her son and husband. So ever since that day, she swore that she would try to save as much people as possible. And she has many different people that join in on her cause. And I'll name some of them, being Helga, who is her second in command. And then there's Jessica, who happens to be, like, super muscular. And then there's Delilah, who's, like, a noblewoman. And then there's Colleen, the new recruit. And then there's Lynn, who kind of has, like, a mix between Chung-Li and Min-Mei from Macross put together. And finally, there's Irene, who I can sum up as that she's very popular with the gentlemen for various reasons. So yes, it's all about these group of girls who fight off some terrorists, and the main mission that this OVA focuses on is about a bunch of world leaders are having a secret conference in Switzerland, and they need someone to protect them, so they hire C.A.T. And all the characters from C.A.T were about to go on vacation, but of course, they happen to get interrupted by getting that call, so then they have to go take on the job. And that's basically it. Yeah, like, that's all I can really say about it, because, you know, if I were to explain any more, I'd literally be describing every scene, like, detail to detail, but, you know, I don't want to do that because, well, what's the point? You might as well just watch it at that point. So yes, it may be a very basic premise, but it is something that you just don't really see a lot in animes, or at least one that I don't see a lot. And it also has a very interesting setting, being in Switzerland, because there's not many animes I can think of that also take place in that country. And also just a little fun fact about me, but that's actually one of the few countries that I've actually visited. So anyways, let's get talking about other things, like the animation. And the animation in this one is really damn good. So the first thing I have to comment on is that the art style is just really great. I really love the way that the characters are designed. Like, not only do they just have, like, really nice details with, like, the hair and the eyes and all that, but I also like the outfit designs as well. They all look very sharp and formal. In fact, I would actually go out and say that this is probably one of the most womanly anime that I've seen in a while. So if you find tough chicks that know how to get shit done sexy, then yeah, you'll definitely love this. But enough about the ladies for now, though. But yeah, I also have to mention that even the backgrounds are really nice looking, too. Like, all the set pieces are really nice. I like the parts where they're in Switzerland. It looks very beautiful looking. And the action scenes are pretty well animated, too. There's quite a bit of shootout scenes and lots of grenade throwing. And for the most part, the animation flow is pretty smooth. There is a couple scenes here and there where the animation is a little bit lacking, but it's pretty minor, though. Because all the action scenes in this one are at least very well animated enough to be fun, because, you know, this is the type of anime that you do go into expecting to see a lot of action scenes that are very fun, and well, it definitely is. I should also mention that this show does have some blood in it, though it's nothing super crazy and over the top, but I do have to mention that there is one scene in particular. In fact, I'm talking about the scene where her family gets killed at the airport. There is one part of it that was a lot more graphic than I was expecting, so that's just something to keep in mind, but still, even those parts were very bloody though, they're still pretty well done. So overall, I can say that the animation is not only really good, but it's just a very stylish, womanly anime, and I'm always down for that. So now, as for the show's music, the music in this one is pretty fucking awesome. It mostly consists of a bunch of, like, guitar solos that are just really awesome sounding, so yeah, of course I'm gonna love that. And thankfully I can say that the OST is actually on YouTube, so you can actually listen to it all on there, which is really great. Even the ending theme is pretty rockin' as well. In fact, I actually think it's a really great rock tune with a really nice catchy chorus. And I would definitely say that a lot of these recent animes that I've been taking a look at, I would say this one is by far like my favorite OST out of them all. And it's also the most underrated and kick-ass one out of them all as well. And apparently the sound director for it happens to be Jun Watanabe. And he's done all sorts of things, including stuff like Guyver and even Pow the Visitor, so I think that's pretty dope. So yeah, I can highly recommend listening to the OST for sure. And next up we have is talking about the voice acting, and yes, this is another one that's only in Japanese, so unfortunately I can't really say much about like the quality of it, but I can mention a few interesting actors that appeared in here. So the voice of Mariko Rosebank was voiced by Yuko Sasaki, and two interesting roles that she did that I was not expecting was that she happened to do the Japanese dub for both X-Men and Batman the Animated Series with Mystique and Poison Ivy. Also, the voice of Irene has been in some pretty interesting things. For an example, she's done Puru 2-in-1 from the Gundam series. She was also in the East OVA, she was also in Gal Force, and she's even been in some of the other crazy OVAs, being Riding Bean, Battle Royale High School, and even Violent Jack Evil Town. So yeah, she's definitely been around. So that's all I can really say about that, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with the subtitles as far as I can tell. So as my overall thoughts on Desert Rose is that I thought it was good. I thought it was good fun. But the thing to keep in mind is that this is an OVA of only one episode that's 40 minutes long, so it's very short, sweet, and to the point, and I enjoyed it for what it was. So don't go into this expecting something gonna be like mind-boggling with like fucking like crazy deconstruction shit going on. Because it's pretty clear that this show is just purely for action and entertainment, and I think it delivered on it. Like, the story may be basic as hell, but I actually like what they did with it. For one, they did a good job portraying the main character's backstory for her reasoning for wanting to create this group. And while most of the other characters don't have the same level of depth, I do think that most of them are fairly memorable enough and are at the least very fun. And it also really helps to have a great animation art style and also having a kick-ass soundtrack. So if you have an hour to spare and you want something that's short, easy to understand, and is just purely mindless fun, I would recommend it for sure. But I will say, as much as I do like this one though, I really did wish they made at least one more episode. Maybe 3 would have been, like, even more amazing, but even that I do think is pushing it. But if they could have at least put out one more, focusing on, like, maybe, like, another character in the group, I would probably like it even more than I already do. But I do have some good news that if you do want more of this, there is a manga of it, and thankfully, it actually does have an English translation, which is really awesome, and knowing how much that I like this one, you can bet your ass I'm going to be reading this.